Hello, TAEKOOKers, welcome to my fictional world. Don't forget to subscribe. Jungkook was uncomfortable to sleep on couch, but when he opened his eyes, he saw half-naked Tae with a towel wrapped around his torso, standing near the bathroom door. Jungkook's eyes frowned, seeing Tae's smirking face. He sat up in annoyance and said, "Don't try to show off your body. Even I have the better one." Tae laughed loudly, seeing his husband's adorableness. He wanted to impress Jungkook with his body, but in return, he made him jealous. Tae, then show me how perfect my husband's body is, he said, smirking. Jungkook was taken aback by his request. He thought this may be a tactic, but seeing Tae's challenging look, he removed his t-shirt, revealing a perfect body similar to Tae but more manly. Tae gaze trailed across the perfectly sculpted body in front of his eyes, making Jungkook feel awkward. His skin is fair but not like Tae's pale skin. It's kind of which resembles with tan when Jungkook is sweating, making him look more hot. Tae swallowed hard and tried to compose himself from drooling. Tae smiled, which made Jungkook regret his action when Tae moved closer to Jungkook and raised his hand but was stopped in midway. Jungkook, what are you doing? Tae, I'm checking whether it's true or photoshopped. Jungkook pulled Tae's cold palm and pressed it onto his abs, glaring at him, and said, "Look, it's true. And also you can touch my biceps if you still have any stupid doubts of yours." Okay, Tae was dancing from inside on Jungkook's stupidity. He pinched on Jungkook's chest, making him hiss with sudden outburst. "Jungkook, you pervert, I told you bicep," he shouted and pushed giggling Tae aside and wore his t-shirt back, flopping on the couch again. Tae laughed and went to dress up. When he came back dressed up, he saw Jungkook asleep on couch with a very uncomfortable expressions on his face. Tae slapped himself for letting his cookie sleep on couch. He slowly lifted Jungkook in his arms in bridal style and laid him on the bed. He kissed his hair softly, which relaxed Jungkook. Jungkook snuggled closer to Tae. 13 years ago. It was the time of summer vacation. All the kids were out of their houses enjoying with friends and family out on vacation. Few were stayed back while roaming here and there. All the parks and street grounds were filled with kids and caretakers. The most occupied place was the big park near Jungkook's house. 9 years old Jungkook, Yogi, Hobi were playing hide and seek on that day. Jungkook wanted to hide so far, so he went across the bushes near the end of the park. He was running until a soft cry fell into his ears. When he turned towards it, he saw two boys bullying a small kid who was crying and was also trying to snatch his breath from the other. Jungkook felt very bad for that kid, so he rushed towards them and shouted on them. The two boys ran away, knowing it is not good to fight with the leader of the most rebel group in the school. Then Jungkook went towards that crying kid who was wearing a mask covering all his face from his nose, forehead covered with bangs. Only those beautiful black eyes were visible. From that day, they became friends, or maybe more than that. Jungkook never intended to know his name. When the others said, "I can't say my name because my mom said not to tell my name to anybody," he just said, "I'm Taeku boy," and his group used to call him Jungkook's Taeku boy. They developed a strong bond only in 2 months of vacation. The boy used to bring candied fruits for Jungkook, whereas Jungkook used to present him with his mom's book, saying, "Read it when we grow old." By the end of the holiday, the little boy said that he need to go back to his school, which is far from Seoul. On the day of departure, the boy cried, clutching to Jungkook, while Jungkook tried to soothe him with his warm words and bid him farewell, placing a kiss on his forehead. From next day only, Jungkook realized what place his Daegu boy hold in his life. He missed him so much. Jungkook used to buy candied fruits, but nothing tastes good. He became moody at times, but still played with his friends happily. What can a judge about feelings. An year later, Jungkook was eagerly waiting for his Daegu boy. It's been almost a week, still no sign of his special friend. Jungkook was playing with his friend when he heard Jungkook. That soft voice made everyone turn towards it. There stood the same boy with mask on his face. Jungkook grinned happily while jumping onto the poor boy and hugging him to death. The other did the same cause he felt the same weight as Jungkook when he was far from other. One day Jin requested all the boys to play wedding as a game. The boy agreed. Jimin insisted in playing the bride's role, whereas Jungkook should be her groom. But Jungkook said no. Jimin, Jungkook, this boy with freaking mask, he's ugly. That's why he covers his face. So you can't choose him as your bride. Jungkook, that's my wish, and also it doesn't matter how he looks. I love him. If he's ugly, I still like him the way he is, Jungkook declared, stroking the little boy's hair softly. Finally, after so much debate, the wedding started. Juni acted as priest, Yoongi as ring holder, Jungkook and the shy boy were couple, and Jimin became bridesmaid. Others were guests to cheer them up. It was a child play with many guests. The kids were playing on the ground gathered, including some parents who watched it happily. This started with all the rituals. Everyone was smiling, watching the kids to do all this. But the park filled with laughter when Jungkook kissed Shy Boy on his lips. Jungkook first wanted to kiss on hand or forehead, but seeing others' sparkling eyes, he lifted the mask from below and kissed on the pink tiny lips longer than it should have lasted, making the other widen his eyes and blush. Juni and Yoongi were rolling on the floor laughing loudly while Jimin was stunned. From that day only, Jungkook liked to call him as his wife. The next day, Jungkook came late with bruises all over his body. Shy Boy was literally shocked to core seeing the other bruised lips and cheeks. He cried, clutching on Jungkook, asking for the reason, but Jungkook just said he fell and it doesn't hurt much, hugging the other protectively. After some days, it was already evening. Daegu boy was still waiting for Jungkook in park. He saw Jungkook running towards him while crying. Even he himself started to cry, seeing the others so helpless. Jungkook pulled him into a hug and sobbed loudly. Shy boy, Jungkook, tell me what happened. I'm scared. Jungkook, wife, look, I have to go. My father is sending me far. You do know I'm just a kid, so I can't oppose him. I will be back as soon as possible. I will become very strong to always protect you and be safe. Till then, I will truly marry you when I get 25. Jungkook, please don't go. Please don't cry. Just wait for me, will you? I will marry you, so please don't forget me. Promise me you will be strong till then. Jungkook had yet to speak when a man with black clothes pulled him roughly towards the exit. The boy chased them from behind when Jungkook was shoved into the car. What's your name, wife? Jungkook shouted while crying, but before other could say anything, the car moved. The boy still chased them, telling his name. He removed his mask, throwing it away. While the sun was setting, it was a time when they both were separated. I will wait till you come back to me, Jungkook. I promise. I love you too. Jungkook on the other side couldn't see the other's face, nor could hear what the other's saying. The boy suddenly tripped and fell. No, Jungkook woke up with his tear-filled eyes, with both of his hands stretched in front. Taehyung, who was sleeping beside him, with his arms wrapped around Jungkook's face, sat up startled by his reaction. Concern covered his face, seeing his husband's reaction. Tae, Jungkook, are you okay? I hate you, Jungkook shouted angrily, walking away, leaving back sad, unworried Tae. After that incident, they both didn't exchange much words. Whenever they tried to approach Jungkook, just shouted him or else shut him off with silence. They knows what he did was wrong, but it all happened for his love for Jungkook. He was greedy. He wants Jungkook to be his. Yes, he was selfish. A week later, Tae never let Jungkook down in these few days. He always showed love and care on Jungkook, but in return, he received some strong punches already and few curses too. One day, Tae moved to court when he saw Jungkook whispering and sobbing in his sleep. This time, he really wanted to know what was really inside Jungkook. Jungkook, eat more, Tae said, placing some meat in Jungkook's bowl. Not getting any response or refusal. Tae, can we drink tonight? He literally pleaded. Jungkook suddenly looked at him as if thinking something. Later, he just nodded his head. Jungkook drank shot after shot, neglecting all his husband's protest. He was immersed in drinking and was now totally tipsy. Tae moved towards Jungkook, sitting beside him. He took his hand into his hand and asked softly, Jungkook, do you wanna say something? Yeah, I hate you, Tae, Jungkook said in his drunken, sloppy tone, making Tae's heart ache. Jungkook, you are the handsome, kind, good. Only thing is, you are a bit pervert at times. You care for me and love me. Do you think you are the only person in the world who loves me? No, my boy, my Daegu boy, the one who was more than a friend to me. I kissed him. He is my first crush, first kiss, and my first love, Jungkook said while falling on Tae's chest, silently sobbing, while Tae kept on kissing him. And I'm scared that he is still waiting for me. I made a promise, but it is now broken by you. I wish my wife doesn't remember me. He may have thought it was just a child's play, and it hurts. He should stay happy forever. Jungkook kept on cursing his father for all. Tae was just listening to everything with a very complicated expressions on his face. Jungkook suddenly showed a shot of vodka into Tae's mouth, who has no choice than to swallow the drink, burning his throat. After a few more shots, now both were completely drunk and tipsy. Tae's eyes fell on Jungkook's lips. It was slightly parted with a gush of hair moving in and out. He was lying on the arm of the couch. Tae moved and sat between Jungkook's legs and leaned to his husband's face. Then Tae trailed his thumb across glossy lower lips of Jungkook. He leaned his face closer and closer. Jungkook, half dizzy, wrapped his hand around Tae's waist, and they pressed their lips together. Both of their lips moved in sync and passion. It was not a gentle and sweet kiss, but a passionate, lusty one. Tae bit on Jungkook's lips, to which he earned a moan from other. Before the kiss get converted into a passionate make-out session, they both separated, painting heavily. Tae traced his wet lips to Jungkook's jawline, to his collarbone, while Jungkook's hands were roaming all over Tae's body, trying to pull him as near as possible. They both were a hot mess, entangled with each other. Though the pressure of lust was evident, still the action of alcohol was strong. Next morning, Taehyung's point of view, I hissed to the throbbing pain I felt in my hand. I snuggled my face closer to the pillow. Does the pillow breathe? I sat up instantly, realizing it's not a pillow, but my dear feisty husband. We both slept on a single couch. Thinking how close we were made my headache vanish in a split of second. First thing caught my attention was Jungkook's bruised lip. His lower lip is swelling like a tiny red sausage with slightly teeth marks on them. What I did last night, my stomach gonna pay for it. I started checking his body. I stood up and checked my body too. Nothing happened. Tae sighed in relief. I ran into the bathroom, not disturbing him. I smiled, touching my lips. I kissed him. Wow. Just then some heavy bangs on the bathroom door was heard. Bang, bang. Get your ass back right now before I break this damn door. Jungkook shouted Tae. His blood went cold. He really punches hard. Though I smile outside, but I feel like puking. But in return, I will give him pain with pleasure. Just wait for it, my love. Tae thought, smoking. Tae rushed out instantly after after hearing Jungkook's painful scream, only to find him standing with an evil smirk behind the door. Tae raised his hand in surrender and replied, Jungkook, I'm zero tolerance to alcohol. I remember it was you who forced me. So, Mr. Husband, say it's my fault, Jungkook asked, smirking. Yes, no, I mean, before Tae could defend himself, Jungkook punched on his stomach, making both of them fall on the floor. Everything happened in a split of seconds. Somehow Jungkook ended up lying on top of Tae, with his face pressed on Tae's chest. Tae was glad that he didn't got hurt. But what surprised Tae was Jungkook's hand placed under Tae's head as protecting him. Jungkook stared into Tae's eyes, raising his hand high to punch him but stopped in midway. He got up and left. Time skip, and there's the negotiation plan. Tae ended his speech with a smile and left the conference hall after bowing to all. Call Mr. Min Yoongi, Tae ordered his secretary and went into his office. A smile appeared on his face, remembering the progress of their relationship. Taehyung's point of view. It's been 2 weeks already, Jungkook said. He hates me at first, but now everything is changing slowly. Though he never said he likes me, he accepted me as a friend at least. When he came back from his friends' get together, he was really angry on me. But when I saw him next day, he was normal. His mood swings like chameleon, changes its color. His childish detective sarcasm and sweet laughter makes my tiny world bright. Taehyung's bridge of thoughts broke when he heard knock on his office door. Come in, he said. When he heard Yoongi's voice, Yoongi immediately walked in with fear and nervousness written all over his face. Yoongi, good afternoon, Mr. Kim. Is there anything I can help you with? He asked nervously. Tae, yes, please. Join us for dinner tonight. Yoongi, what? He asked, blinking, with his mouth half open. Tae, I know you are my husband's best friend. He will be very happy to see you. We are leaving from the office together, Tae said, smiling at him, cause he knew somehow he is his friend too. Yoongi nodded his head shyly. After few hours, Yoongi and Tae went to Tae's house in car. Ride was faster than expected, with a pleasant silence. But when they reached the house, Tae's eyes blinked after seeing the black Ferrari parked as his park point. He rushed forward, letting Yoongi catch up running. Tae trailed his eyes across the hall, then he straight went to his room. He pushed the door slightly, anger ignited in him. When he saw his twin brother, Kim Jong-gyu, was kneeled in front of Jungkook. A sad expression covered Jungkook's face while tears filled in his eyes. Jungkook was sitting on the floor, leaning on the wall, with his head bent down as his hands were clutching his head. He looked so broken. Jungkook, Tae called softly as Jungkook raised his hand. His starry eyes locked into Tae's worried eyes. Then his vision shifted behind him. Jungkook got up and walked forward, pulling Yoongi along with him. He walked away. Indeed, he is handsome, Jeong chuckled, getting up, fixing his shirt, his sad expression replaced with an evil smirk. Why are you here? Tae snapped at him. Oh, is my sweet brother angry on me? He asked innocently, placing his hands on Tae's shoulder. Tae shrugged it off, making him chuckle again. What do you want? Tae asked, trying hard not to kick him in gut. I want him. He's mine. Tae, but I'm his takeover. Jeong, no, you are not. Just because you resemble me, that doesn't mean you are me. Tae snapped out, glaring at him. His twin brother smirked and waved off, saying, let's see. Tae sighed and sat on the bed. Everything became a mess, he thought. Did Jungkook really think that Jeong is that shy boy? In these days, Tae left hints to let Jungkook catch him, but he never did. Tae brought his favorite candied fruits, even though he happily ate them, but no response. He got as expected it to be. Taehyung waited for him all these years, but Jungkook never came. Then he thought to go to abroad to surprise him on his 25th birthday. But when he came to know that Jungkook's father was trying to collaborate with some perverts offering Jungkook, Tae got very furious and scared at the same time. Then he did this contract wedding. Jungkook did promise to marry him after all, so not a big deal. Taehyung wanted to say the truth on the first meet, but his glare stopped him from doing that. Tae enjoyed every moment, his anger, frustration, stupidity, and also love. Yes, Tae remembered all the words Jungkook said about him, the way his eyes sparkle whenever he's saying about his Daegu boy, makes Tae feel worth his weight. How many people get chance to see their true love praising them and chatting about how much love them. Lucky Taeyang. But that Jung spoiled everything. That evil guy can manipulate anyone, and him trying to convince that he is Daegu boy is not that hard because he knows everything about Daegu from the start. Flashback. Cheong's horrible nature was out when they were 16. Both the brothers used to be very close, till then liked other twins. Tae shared all his feeling towards Jungkook to his brother Jeong, but his brother's word broke Tae's heart. His words still ring in his ears. Tae, why are you doing all this? Jeong, why? Why? Because I hate you. You are loved by all and I am not. Our parents love you more. Those damn teachers praise you and orders me to be like you. You are everyone's precious angel and me, what I am, a devil? Everyone's love you, including Jungkook, who has not even seen your face. But me, just your tune and spoiled brat, that's why. From now on, I will be snatching everything and everyone from you. He chuckled, walking away. Jeong was successful in what he promised. Tae's parents abandoned him and kicked him out from home. They no more treated Tae as their real son. Even he didn't get any penny from them. Whenever Jeong did, he couldn't catch Tae's talent, which is the only thing brought him this high. Of course, Tae will not let Jeong make him a beggar. He can't let his cookie live in a dumpster and give up his way of leading luxurious life. I need to find Jungkook. Tae got up, adjusting his suit, and walked away, dialing Jungkook's number. A known ringtone caught his attention. Jungkook left his phone on the couch. Tae picked it up. Tae frowned his eyebrows, seeing his name saved as MFL. What does that mean? Tae went out, taking Jungkook's phone along with him. Finally, Tae found Jungkook in a club. Jungkook was slightly tipsy but not totally drunk. He was just staring outside the window. Tae already caught twice to grab his attention but was of no use. Jungkook, Tae softly called his name. What? He answered lazily after a few seconds. Please talk something. Let's talk at home. He interrupted and closed his eyes silently. Tae felt a bit happy. At least he is considering home. At house, Jungkook, why didn't you tell me you have a brother? He asked sternly, folding his hat up to his chest. Tae, we are not in a good terms. Jungkook, so you hide it from me? Is his name Jeong? His voice almost sounded like scream. His fingers curled up. Tae nodded his head. You are so damn it, Mr. Kim Taehyung. You wore this innocent mask over your wicked heart. You know what's the cost of all this? You always hurt to my feelings as if you are considerate about them. But no, a boy whom I was in love with all my life turns out to be that he is my brother-in-law. Can you hear me? How disgusting it sounds? Jungkook shouted on Tae's face, his voice turning sore. Taehyung's point of view. He is misunderstanding all. Why am I hiding? It's now or never. Tae, Jungkook, look, I wanted to tell you something at our first meet. I didn't. I'm sorry. It was about Daegu boy, whom your love is. You, Jungkook asked, interrupting Tae. But still Tae nodded his head as yes. Jungkook laughed loudly, his voice echoing through the walls. Tae just stood there with his heart beating uncontrollable, not knowing what else to say next. Jungkook, liar. Jung already told me about everything. He said how were you jealous of him from the start, how you snatched his property, and how you made your own parents hate your twin. And he also told me all the wrong deeds you did to him. You are a cheat. He spit out and walked away. It took hours to digest Jungkook's words. Am I that bad in his heart? I just feel so unlike me what I have done. He will never believe me from now on, he asks to himself. A simple prank they planned to punish Jungkook for letting him wait this long is bringing so much pain now, and it hurts. Next morning, Tae felt Jungkook's eyes on him, but when he looked up, he saw him with his head bent down, with chopsticks in mouth. Just then, Jeong entered. Hello, bro, and Jungkook. Having breakfast without me? Tae glared at him. Take your seat, Jeong. Jungkook smiled, offering seat to him. Tae, why are you smiling, my love? That's not me, Jeong. It seems like my brother doesn't want me here, he said, pouting sadly when Jungkook glared at Tae. Jungkook, don't worry about him, Jeong sat beside Jungkook. All were having their food silently until the devil wanted to break the silence. Jungkook, I brought your favorite candied fruits, Jung said, placing a paper bag in front of Jungkook. You still remember? Jungkook asked softly, still his head bent down. Tae, why did you not ask to me that when I brought you those? How can I forget? Jung said, smirking at Tae with an evil glimpse passing eyes. So how's everyone doing? Have you met them? Jung asked, sipping the tea. Don't you have home? Get lost from mine. Tae was trying hard not to tag himself bad in front of Jungkook, but this guy was getting into his nerves. Jeong was using Tae's all words that he said in past about Jungkook and his friends against Tae as a weapon to separate TAEKOOK. Jeong was really crossing his line. It's already been a week. He is taking Jungkook out for lunch and they are spending a lot of time together. He always acts like a long lost lover. Taehyung can't blame Jungkook for this, but now he's getting really angry on him. At least Jungkook should respect their relationship. We are going for lunch, Jungkook announced, facing his back towards Tae. Jungkook stopped waiting for Tae's reply. What should I say? Don't leave me alone or don't do crazy stuffs. No, then he will think I don't trust him. Tae was still struggling what to say when I'm not cheating on you, cheater. Jungkook snapped and walked out smirking. Those words stabbed Taehyung's heart multiple times. I need to prove him that I'm his childhood love, but how? Tae was deep in his thought when something struck his mind. Read it when we grew old. Jungkook's mom's book. Yes, Tae ran outside, pushing the door hard towards the mini library upstairs. Oh God, keys. He ran again back and forth to get the keys. Tae unlocked and opened the door wide. Jungkook's smiley face greeted him. Tae smiled and moved towards the center table. Just keeping smile, my love, Tae mumbled, helplessly looking towards Jungkook's picture. A soft, sad chuckle left his mouth as he put his hand into the drawer. His hand felt numb with panic. Where are the books? Tae asked the picture. He faced palm and started searching the whole room. No books? Tae shouted, annoyed, throwing the papers and books across the room. After an hour, a single teardrop rolled from Tae's eyes. Only a chance that he had to prove himself was already gone now. Just then his eyes fell on the surveillance camera. Tae, I will kill that who came into my personal room without my permission. He got angrily. He opened the system and started checking the footage. He started playing the recording from today in backward direction. Nothing. Wait, he paused and replayed again. Some part of the clips were missing. It was the day when Jeong came home. Tae, I knew you are the only one who could do such a cheap trick. I will kill you for sure. He shouted, punching hard, making his blood ooze out his knuckles. Time skip. Taehyung was sipping his hot, steamy coffee. His mind was completely blank from past few days. His presence was fully absent. He sat at the corner of the canteen without getting anyone's attention. He turned towards the rushing Yoongi, who was literally screaming on his phone. Yoongi on phone. Yeah, Cookie, bring your taekook. Today is the day. Be there as soon as possible. I'm also leaving right now. Bye. Hearing the half speech, Tay stood up instantly and chased Yoongi behind. Yoongi took the cab while Tay followed him behind in his car. Within few minutes, they reached the park. It was the park where Jungkook and Tay used to play with their friends. Tay ran at the very end bench. He knows very well where he can find the others. Tay hid behind the bushes as he wanted to see what's really gonna happen today. Jiyeon smiling sweetly, just like Jungkook too. Taehyung's heartbeat raced like a rocket. He felt his body going completely numb with panic. All the other fans gathered around them, though he could not hear what they were saying. Not because he is standing too far, but because his head was too busy buzzing like crazy. A loud cheer rang across all when Jungkook and Jong stood face to face, just a foot distance apart. I'm sorry, I didn't find you soon. I love you. No one can separate us from now on. Jiyoung said, holding Jungkook's hand into his firmly with a sincere look. Just this look is enough to make anyone think how sincere he is. There were no words to describe Taehyung's pain when he saw Jungkook's smiley, nodding face. They both inched forward, bringing their lips very close. Just a couple of finger distance was left. Tae's pain turned into rage. His anger turned into fire-spitting volcano, making his finger dig into his own palm. His fists curled up. Whether you want or not, you are mine, Jungkook, only mine. Tae muttered and stepped out, raising his hand high. Palm. Jeong was sent flying across the muddy grass. The hard punch on his jaw made blood ooze out his mouth. He sat down, coughing blood, twisting his jaw with pain. Everyone gasped. Taehyung stood frozen on the spot, with his eyes wide and fists still clenched. Jungkook broke his knuckles calmly, shaking his hand as if he touched something dirty. The smirk on his lip froze, seeing Tae at a distance with shocked expression. What are you doing here? Jungkook asked softly after a few minutes of pure silence. First, you tell me what's going on, Tae asked in return. Jungkook just smiled sadly and pulled Tae into a pleasant hug. Tae's rage-filled eyes turned into happiness in a minute, while Jungkook's eyes turned to teared up. They both wanted this. No words have to exchange to how much they love each other. Tae, you know the truth from the start. Jungkook, no. Just a few days ago. It's been very hard time for Taeyang. He is not able to digest the present situation. It's been midnight already. Jungkook didn't return back. Also, Jungkook and Jeong both were not answering his calls. Tae's anger and helplessness doubled. He banged his fists on the wooden floor, making his knuckles bleed continuously, and he felt sleep like that only. That Jungkook stopped in mid-sentence, his mouth open wide. His eyes trailed across the floor, which was stained with blood droplets, and settled on the sleeping figure on the bed. He rushed towards Tae. His face was completely pale and stressed. Jungkook's heart thumped hard. He took first aid kit and sat beside Tae. He slowly took the wounded hand into his hand without disturbing other. He placed soft kisses on pale fingers and blowed softly on the knuckles, while the other hand wiping his fallen tears. After that, he turned towards Tae and blowed on his face softly, making Tae shift in his sleep. Jungkook then started caressing smooth black hairs. Why are you hurting yourself, my Taekook boy? I'm right here, Jungkook muttered and placed a long kiss on Tae's forehead. Then he laid beside Tae, covering him with quills. He sighed and chuckled, looking at Tae's face. I'm happy to have you back. Just wait till I teach your brother a lesson. How dare he hurt you? That person, Jungkook cursed inwardly, still smiling at the angel beside him. If Jungkook was not curious about the locked room upstairs, he would have never confirmed that Tae was his first love. Jungkook was already suspicious on Tae's behavior, which always reminded him of that little shy boy, mainly those black eyes. One day when Tae went to office, Jungkook secretly sneaked into the locked room. The first thing greeted him was his own smiling picture, the way his heart beat unconditionally, with tears of joy. He was on cloud nine. He roamed across the room, touching all the things, trailing his fingers softly, as if he is touching Taehyung. He sat on Taehyung's chair, smiling, giggling, and blushing. Then he opened the drawer and saw those books. Jungkook opened them and saw two names written adjacent with each other and a knotted name. Taehyung Jungkook. TAEKOOK, Cooktae. Oh, that's the reason company's name is Cooktae Industries. Smart. He laughed, unable to control his happiness. A mischievous idea come to his mind. Even I can play games, my love. Jungkook opened Tae's system and cleared CCTV footage and set his timer freeze for 10 minutes. Taking the books, he walked away, making sure everything stays in its place. Jungkook was hiding those books in his closet when a voice caught his attention. There stood Jeong with a very sad expression and an innocent look. Jungkook was startled and at the same time confused. Jungkook wanted to beat Jeong to his pulp when he introduced himself as David Boy. When he said Tae cheated and played with his life and love, Jungkook was literally trying hard to control the rising beats inside him. Jungkook sat on the floor, not knowing what else to say, but he confirmed one thing, that Jeong was the other who did bad things to Tae, and that made him felt hurt. At that very moment, Tae came with their Yoongi. Jungkook controlled his fluttering heart towards Tae. He forcefully dragged Yoongi with him to a club and asked him about Taehyung's personal life. As expected, what Jungkook thought was true. But now the question was, what does Jeong really want? To know that Jungkook started acting indifferently, though he felt the same pain seeing Tae hurt, but still he controlled his throbbing heart. Every time Jungkook saw Jeong happy's face, he really wanted to smack him, but he controlled it. He was waiting for an opportunity to end this drama, just like his other friends. When Jeong proposed and tried to kiss Jungkook, he could not control himself, but he didn't expect Taehyung to be there. Present, Jungkook broke the hug, disturbed by his stupid friends, chipping and commenting. Still holding Tae's waist, he kissed Tae's hair gently, not breaking the eye contact. How did you find out? Tae asked innocently, holding Jungkook's arm. Jungkook chuckled and said, your love pulled me. Now you tell me, why you hide? Jungkook asked. Tae, because I... Jungkook spoke in between. Daegu boy, you don't have to explain yourself to me. Let's go home, he whispered into Tae's ear softly, nibbling his earlobes, making Tae blush with sudden intimacy. And you, I promised my shy little boy that I will protect him after I return, and I will never break my words. If you try to step into our lives again, then I will not spare you. With punch, I will kill you for sure. Jungkook hissed the last part loudly, pointing his finger towards Jeong, still holding Tae by waist, and walked towards exit. What about us? Everyone called. Jungkook just shrugged and left, waving his hand. Pervert, all declared, but still felt happy for their lovely, stupid friends. Tae smiled happily, holding Jungkook's hand for the first time after so many years. They both got inside the car. Jungkook placed his hands on the steering wheel and turned towards his cheeky smiling Tae. He smiled. Tae was about to ask something, but before he could open his mouth, Jungkook pulled Tae by his collar and sealed their lips. The kiss was hot and needy. Tae placed his hand on either side of Jungkook and climbed on top of him, adjusting the seat flat. Jungkook slowly sucked and kissed hard on those pink lips. Tae returned the kiss with the same intensity, pulling Jungkook as close as possible. Only the lack of air. They broke the passionate moment. Why? Why did you save my number as MFL? Tae asked, breathing heavily. A single tear rolled down his cheeks, his eyes waiting for the answer. Jungkook started the car in full speed. He have to make Tae his as soon as possible. My first love, MFL. And then their love story continued. Within a